other things.
Weird.
You know, someone said that frickin' Panera's Pepsis taste funny.
Better.
No, I mean,
What?
It's not fun to get a rise out of people.
It is fun to get a rise out of people. Welcome everyone to the Average Intelligence Podcast, the only podcast that makes a chimp in a suit look smart.
I was just gonna say, it's fun to get a rise out of people. Might as well be the log line for this show. See, you thought about it. You know I'm not wrong.
It's up there. Eric may or may not be joining us tonight. If I had to guess, not, but we shall see. But that's okay.
Excellent. Did he see the episode? I'm curious what he thought.
I don't
his
know.
thoughts were.
That might be why he's not joining us tonight, because if he hadn't seen the episode yet, I told him he could use my Paramount Plus if he wanted to. But speaking of
Yeah.
Paramount Plus, guess what? Tonight's podcast is brought to you by our fellow podcast Toon Talk 2.0 and our friends at Paramount Plus, because without whom this episode would not have been possible. I mean, I guess if we had cable, but who has cable?
Who has Kate?
Who has cable now?
Okay, according to CBS.
Wow.
Accurate.
Which actually, some of you may have said, well, I can just watch clips online. Fun fact, it's very easy to tell who saw this episode in its entirety and who just saw the clips. We are, of course, talking about, if you hadn't inferred by the thumbnail or the title, that we're talking about South Park Season 27 premiere episode, Sermon on the Mount, which
Sermon on the Mount.
is making the waves.
Eat the fucking bread. Eat the fucking bread.
Wait, Haley, you have cable? I stand corrected.
I kind of have cable. I just don't use it.
Well, that's what Haley said. I have access to cable. Well,
it comes with my. If you're anything like us, it's paired with my internet. So I just get it. I also have a basic phone package. I just don't use it, but it comes with my cable.
Technically speaking, it's hybrid cable that I have. See, my parents have DirecTV Stream.
Yeah.
And I know their login information. So
interesting.
I theoretically have cable.
Interesting.
But I never use it because everything is almost everything is streamable. I only use DirecTV Stream to
mostly,
watch.
Yeah.
I used it to watch AEW before it was available on Max, and I still use it to watch TNA wrestling. That is pretty much it.
I only ever used cable to watch two shows. Well, I used to watch all of the CW Arrowverse shows on cable, and then I'd watch Penn and Teller Fool Us and American Ninja Warrior, which, like, you're my friend, that you're probably like, yeah, that makes sense.
That tracks, although now I think you can find all that on the CW app.
Most of it is online, yeah. A lot of the Penn and Teller stuff you can just watch on YouTube because most of the magicians just post it on YouTube.
Well,
so,
and I mean, a fair amount. I think the Arrowverse shows are on Paramount Plus, are they not? No, I'm sorry, not Paramount Plus, Max. They'd be on HBO Max.
I wouldn't know. I have yet to fold HBO Max into my streaming service. Some of them are on, like, the Flash is on Netflix. Arrow is on Crave, which kind of I think Arrow's on Crave. Legends of Tomorrow was at one point on Crave, but yeah, it's licensing is weird. South Park, on the other hand, is on Paramount Plus now.
It is, but it's also still on HBO Max. The old
is it still on HBO Max?
The old episodes, anyway, or at least they were a couple days ago. But yes,
so
the new season is on.
Coming into this, I like to start off this by saying that I'm the guy who's coming into this being critical. Because I'm very vocally critical of them online. That's kind of my thing. There's a for the longest time there's a South Park guy. His whole bit is he's the South Park guy on TikTok, and we had kind of a back and forth going where I would just like go after him for his like slightly sycophantic opinions of South Park.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I think you are a little tough on Matt and Trey. However,
I'm a little bit. I am a little bit.
I will concede this isn't just you either. I am now in I think it's season 19, the Soda Sopa
Yeah.
season. I find it funny, but I can understand why. It's a very jarring difference. I will
Now,
admit.
to be fair, and it does tie in. There's some interesting things that the Trump stuff is funny, but the interesting stuff for me is it's the Trump stuff is so funny.
It's
But
so funny,
he
dude.
walked through the desert, drowned. Um,
Well,
the stuff that was interesting to me though was the characters being like the woke shit we took the woke shit, that was too much, but this is too far too. We're okay. You know what? I'm just gonna get this. So my personal theory about Trey, I think it's Trey, just based on the characters that say it. I think he voted for Trump and regrets it. This episode
oh
reads like he
no,
voted for Trump and he regrets it. Or it's certainly
no.
he voted for Trump and there was a divide in his social group because um I felt that they went soft on Trump. Oh, did I lose Jake?
No, I'm still here audio
Oh,
wise.
oh,
Something
okay.
happened with my camera though.
I was like, oh no, did I lose you?
Oh, okay.
Um, I
You see,
felt
I
that they
moved
kind
to the
of
left.
I felt they kind of went soft on Trump, and in particular, and I always say I've used this to cite why like ignoring Trump supporters is a bad thing. And there was an episode, there's the series of episodes where Cartman is dating, um, oh, what's the character? Not
Oh God, I
Wendy.
know her name.
Um, I forget
It's
the
not.
character's name,
It's not
but she
Wendy, but
eventually
we
turns
know.
into Trump or into Cartman. That's the gag. Um, and there's an episode where Kyle is like, I don't understand how he could date her, and I don't understand what does he see in her and all that. And the message of the episode is, oh, if you accuse someone of something, it's just gonna make them double down and not accept it. If you continue to tell them that they're stupid for doing this thing, they're just going to double down on it and not see it. And that was clearly in that instance, Cartman was a metaphor for Trump, and I can't remember the character's name. But the character Cartman's girlfriend was the stand-in for America. And there's been a bunch of subplots about Kyle and Stan being broken up. And I don't know. The thing about South Park is South Park has always been like deeply personal for Matt and Trey. It's just how they write that show. So like it's very easy to be like when they have characters being like, well, maybe we took the PC principal character too far and like because in my I find certain types of right-wing comedy to be kind of hacky. That's kind of my thing. So like the three right-wing jokes, the I identify as an attack helicopter, the blue-haired feminist, and there's one more. Oh, you just can't say that anymore. I find that kind of humor to be hacky. It's easy and it's cheap and it's lazy. It's I call it grievance comedy. I've heard it called grievance comedy. Dave Chappelle, George Carlin, all that, where it's just you stand on stage and you bitch about how shitty your life is, um, or how shitty the world is, or how much you're mad at a certain thing. Um, yeah, so I found like a lot of their more recent stuff to be that. This was the sharpest I think they've been in years.
It's
Like I felt
very.
this was the sharpest.
I will say it's very much a return to form.
Yes.
It feels like not super old South Park, but this feels a bit more like classic South
They
Park.
had something to say. It like my thing is like the stuff that's been bugging me is them trying to pretend that they're still doing the 6 day a week thing when they haven't done the 6 day a week thing in a long time. They
Well, I
stopped
think
doing the
I
6 day.
this
This one
episode
they
at least
did.
I was gonna
They
say
they still
parts of this at least were and the thing of it is it's one of two things, and both are very possible. They may have had to rewrite a lot of this season because they wanted
absolutely.
to include the Trump gag because it can
Yes.
it's too fresh. The whole Paramount and CBS settlement with Trump, and that was to, or at least the prevailing theory is that they caved to Trump and settled the suit with CBS, which is
I'm
owned by
sure they
Paramount.
did.
Well, no, and I'm sure they did, so as to not have the FCC gum up their merger with
Hmm. It
Scott.
was it was for financial reasons, but just not the financial reasons. Well, but it is also the finance. That's the thing, right? Is late night is a dying, archaic art form that's dying slowly. Like like I think I thought of the perfect analogy of being like because I had saw a bunch of people came at me like, well, he's had the highest ratings. Yeah, but saying that he had the highest ratings in the late night is sort of like saying he had the nicest boat with a hole in it. His boat still has a hole in it. Just because it's the
Well,
nicest boat with a hole in it doesn't mean it's not a boat with a hole in it.
well, I'm okay. I'm gonna bring up that. Okay, I'm gonna address this first, and I'm gonna because we had a conversation off air about Matt and Trey being perceived as brave, and I said kind of, but not in the way most people are thinking. So I put a pin in that. I'm gonna come back to that. But I would like to personally, Stephen Colbert. I know you're not watching this, but if you are, first of all, um, start being funny again because you haven't been for a long, long time. But
Also, also, you're not censored. You're not being censored. You know what you don't get to do when you're being censored? Complain about being censored for 10 months.
I mean, this is true, yes. But well, and see, they okay.
Sorry,
Here's the
I've
thing.
seen too many people say that's been driving me mad.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Television executives love one thing above all others, and that's money. Now, in television,
Great.
ratings mean money. So, Stephen, you still have about a year. I think it's May of 2026 that he will be off the air.
Yeah, 10 months was
Okay,
what I heard.
dude, what's the worst they can do to you? You have a contract. You have an
Well,
opportunity.
in
No,
an
no, hang
actual
on.
dictatorship,
Well, but hang on a second here. You have an opportunity to, okay, what Stephen Colbert needs to do is he needs to let loose. He needs to be controversial. He needs to do what South Park did. He needs to go back. Really, he can make a giant joke and return to form of this because Colbert's character
yeah,
he was essentially impersonating Bill O'Reilly.
yeah, pretty much,
He
yeah.
was the air quotes conservative guy on the Daily Show, and then that transferred into a show that was very popular and at one point for the majority of its run, I believe, was out viewing or had higher ratings than the Daily Show
hmm Yeah, yeah,
because it was funny. Watching Stephen Colbert interview conservative people and them taking it seriously was funny because he wasn't taking it seriously. It was a joke to him. I've always said that's the best thing to do when you're interviewing conservatives is just make it a joke the whole time because they don't
that
get the joke. They don't understand the
no,
joke,
no.
or at least they
That's the
didn't
thing
used
is
to.
that's how you defeat fascism is you point out how ridiculous and silly they are. Like how silly you make fun of them, you mock them to their face, you laugh at them. It takes away their
Yes.
power.
Well, and trust pin on that. So Stephen Colbert, you need to revert back to your conservative persona. And here's the thing: they gave you the perfect way to do it. On your next episode, you go on air and you give a Matt and Trey style apology to the regime and call it the regime. Like go full bore Republican host again and go back to the joke that made you famous.
I
Because
mean, certainly in the last 10 months to do it, just for
that's what I'm
fun, even
saying.
just for
But I
fun.
mean, go nuts and hope. Okay, so now going back to South Park, like you're right. Matt and Trey aren't brave in the sense because they've got fuck you money now.
They're
They
billionaires who have a show where they can air their grievances on national television. They're not that makes billion. They have a billion or $1 million like franchise that they can do with which whatever they want. Like,
yeah.
like no,
Well,
they're
but
not gonna get
going back to Stephen Colbert though. Okay, let's say you do all that and your show still gets canceled. There are other networks.
absolutely, yeah,
Get your
absolutely.
ratings up, make yourself money. And here's the thing about South Park. I wouldn't say so much that they're brave, even though, I mean, they are in the sense that Hollywood seems to be really scared of pissing people off for some reason, but it's
I
debatable as to
mean,
whether Matt and Trey are super Hollywood. But here's my point. Brave, maybe, maybe not. Extremely clever and borderline. Like it's not. What's the word I'm looking for? It's not manipulative. But here's why I say that. So this episode is perfect in the sense that no matter what happens, Matt and Trey win.
Oh,
Because
absolutely. Well, they won.
I mean, yeah, because the worst thing that could happen to South Park is they get canceled. But here's the funny thing. I guarantee I want to see the numbers, but in my own personal, like immediate sphere of people I know, 3 people signed up for Paramount Plus just to watch that episode.
Really,
Yeah.
really. I mean,
So,
it's too valuable of a property, and
well, they
and
just
and
paid $1.5 billion. dollars.
I just think capitalism's going to prevent you guys from becoming a full-blown dictatorship. I just do.
It will. It will because
I just, I just do.
but kind of here's my point. So, worst case scenario for South Park is they get canceled. Okay,
I just don't think they would.
Matt and Trey still own South Park. They'll
That
just
is
get
true.
they'll just get picked up somewhere else, or they'll make a deal with Max if they get
Yeah.
canceled off of Paramount. Like it's just like you said, it's too valuable of a commodity.
Oh,
So
true value.
here's the other thing. Let's say that they get canceled for good. Well, they'll always be able to say we got canceled because we made a tiny dick joke about the president and he got big mad about it.
Oh, not so much, not even just a tiny dick joke. It's to get, he's, again, I keep saying it, where he's literally, the joke is that he's fucking Satan. He's literally fucking Satan.
Well,
Like,
no,
it's to get people.
I bring up the tiny dick joke because that was you can laugh off the being Satan's boyfriend thing, but somebody like Trump, and that's why they hit the joke so many times in the episode.
Oh, yeah, he's,
The tiny dick thing is what's pissing him off
oh, for
because
sure.
he probably has a tiny dick.
I
But
imagine that and the Middle Eastern dictator thing probably is not
oh, I think that joke went over his head because to get that joke, you would have to know about the Saddam Hussein character and
yeah, they so okay. The amount of people who don't okay. The thing this week that I realized the most. It's funny because when they said that they weren't coming back till next week, I kind of, you know what? I'm kind of glad that way
oh,
we
they
don't have to
did.
squeeze talking about 2 episodes.
They did. I'll tell you exactly. They did that on purpose because they want more people to watch this episode.
Oh, it's really, I've just, the internet has been a treasure trove of people who don't get South Park, people who you can tell are Gen Z who haven't been watching South Park the entire. I realized today I've been watching South Park for 23 years,
Yeah,
24
yeah.
years. That's wild. Like since season four. Season four was the very first season I watched.
Since
So
it
it's
came on the air, man. I've been
that's
watching
just
it since it
crazy.
came on the. Well, I don't. It might have been the next year. Although I'm pretty sure Eric exposed me to South Park pretty early, and
For
that
me, it was
sounds
season
about right.
four. It was the weird one with the weird CGI opening. That's the
Oh
I'll never
yeah.
forget that. Where they go to the fourth grade, has his jokes on dick. You can see. Okay, the thing is, the reason why I criticize Matt and Trey so hard and I criticize South Park so hard is because I'm a massive fan. I own like 4 seasons of it on DVD. I've been watching it since I was a teenager, and so when it's lazy and dated, the thing that drove me crazy about the last few seasons was just how dated so much of the humor was. And so they said a thing at Comic-Con that to me was a bullshit. Like they were like all of that teaser trailer that they released, that all of that was fake. I don't believe that it was all fake. I believe that was pre-done for this. I think that was the season opener,
I think
and
it
then this
was.
Trump shit happened, and they dusted off this because again, they have not done the 6 day a week thing since COVID. Like they started, all the specials were done over several months, like
Right.
several months. Um, and the other thing is, I'm such a fan. The reason why I say a lot of weird anecdotal stuff about what they think is I've watched or listened to all of the mini commentaries. I love the mini commentaries because that's where you get into their mindset of where their writing comes from. Um, so that's there's a lot of like little like idiosyncrasy or like there's a really great interview with Bill Hader where he talks about writing the fish stick joke where he talks about their writing process where Matt will just come in pissed off about something and that's what so that's where I'm like a lot of the show is just them airing their grievances and I'm not I say that not judging because I would do exactly the same thing if I were
Well, yeah.
them.
I mean, even
It's
this
not
podcast,
judging.
this was supposed to be, and I'm so not putting us on South Park's level, but a vast majority of our episodes are last minute alterations, whether it be life schedule or current events. Because, like, for example, this has happened a lot. On January 6th, the January 6th,
Yeah.
we were originally supposed to talk about China in that episode. And then that
Uh,
happens. And
Irony.
then I literally sent him a message of like, well, we got to talk about this,
Right?
And then tonight, even, um, we were supposed to do a Superman review, James Gunn's Superman by James Gunn, and a combination of Eric not being able to see it yet, although he saw it today. So I pivoted to the idea of, still being Superman, but kind of turning it on its head. And we're still going to do this probably next week. We're going to kind of defend Superman Returns, but then
Oh,
also,
nice. I can absolutely defend that. I love that. That was what we did. We were like, this movie's underrated. That was the direction we took.
well, I, just a little teaser. Like, for those of you who haven't seen, or maybe if you have seen it, you know, David Cornsweat it is good. I'm not digging it, but everybody's talking about how like he looks like Superman, and I'm like, have you seen Brandon Routh
Have
in
you seen
2006?
Brandon Routh? He looked just like that. He was hired off of the fact that he looks
He
just like Christopher Reeve.
exactly,
Like, like
exactly.
that movie, to its detriment, is desperately trying to be the Donner movies. Well, it's
The
probably more like the Richard Lester movies, but that's neither here nor. This is not
yeah,
Superman.
yeah. So the theory behind that was, well, if you manage to see Superman in time, great. We can kind of compare a little bit while still defending Superman
Yeah.
Returns. But if you haven't, we're still hitting the Superman algorithm, but it's different. So it's not just another James Gunn, Superman by James Gunn review. It's in the algorithm, but somebody might be like, you know what? Yeah, that movie wasn't that bad.
Fair enough. I mean, there's a lot of times where I not so much alter the show to air my grievances, but like I feel like watching a movie, and I'm like, you
Well,
know what? I want to watch the Happy Fun Time Murders. Let's find a way to do a puppet episode like that. That happens a lot.
which by the way, that movie's underrated too.
The movie's very funny and very strange, and I enjoy talking about it because
It
John got
was
so uncomfortable.
it was very very funny. But while talking about airing grievances, I don't remember what day it was. I think it was the week after October 7th. Again, the October 7th. We did a whole episode where basically I got on my soapbox and was like just airing my grievances about the whole thing. And I'm
I,
I'm not shy about it because I was
I
like, I'm literally sitting there the whole time. I'm like, I don't understand how you can have a moral equivalency here. I just don't. Someone fucking explain it to me. But that's neither here nor there. But tonight, for example, after I watched this episode, I was like, oh, there's nothing else we can talk about.
the
It's
thing
too
is, it's
big.
not, it's not even just the episode. For me, every day since it came out, the internet has been a treasure trove and a gold mine of, again, people who don't understand South Park. Or I got into an argument on Threads with someone who insisted that the Trump character was Canadian when I was like, no, he's Saddam Hussein. I thought he was maybe Saddam Hussein in a mask. Like that was and I'm
Oh,
still
I think
not
that's coming.
100% convinced that's not the
I think
joke.
that's coming. I think that's coming.
But also, both Saddam Hussein and Satan technically have been killed off, and Jesus. Satan died in his battle with Man Bear Pig.
Yes, he
In the
did.
scene, that's a shot for shot remake of the scene from Hulk. I think that scene's very funny. But
It is very funny. It is very funny.
but yeah, so they're canonically. So that's why when I made my initial video, I was like, okay, so just so you understand, canonically within the universe of South Park, or is it just really supposed to be a parody and that's the joke? And I don't think it's clear yet. Probably
No,
because they
South
don't know
Park,
yet.
I'll be honest, I'll be honest, like occasionally South Park will have a lazy episode, but when it comes to their lore, they're not lazy.
No, no,
Not at
that's
all.
what's so strange.
Well, I mean,
Um,
technically Satan's immortal, much like and Jesus still has the halo, does he not?
I believe he does still have the
Yeah.
Halo. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Um,
that's Jesus' superpower. That's established in his first when he when he makes
see,
Kyle when he makes Kyle kill him.
I thought it was going to be because this is now, or I think maybe I don't think I came up with this. I feel like I saw this on the internet, but um, was the idea was how they were going to explain why Garrison started acting like Trump was they were going to be like okay, YouTube demonetization. How do we say this? Um, when Garrison did what he did to Canadian Trump, that
Oh, right.
Canadian Trump possessed Garrison, and that now the spirit of Trump has passed on to whoever he is possessing now. And that's why he's been three separate people.
Yeah. Now
I was like,
remind me,
that's a believable enough theory.
r- remind me, because I've seen the episode. Was Canadian Satan connected to Saddam? No, that was a separate.
No, no, he wasn't connected to Saddam. No, that was the that was the episode where they did freemium games, and then they had
Yes.
the audacity to release a freemium game.
Well, come on, that was coming.
No, see with Matt. No, see the thing about Matt and Trey, they're so self-righteous sometimes in their writing and how and what they say, and it's all directly coming from them because they'll get in these mini commentaries and be like, no, this is our the one that always gets me as the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because now as a person who does this, I'm like, I just don't think that movie was that bad.
It was.
Like, I don't that bad. Like,
It
I
was
don't know.
that bad.
Jordan maintains those movies are of relative quality, but that's his hot take. But I don't know. I don't know if it's like showing him being violently assaulted repeatedly levels of bad. I don't. I just don't feel like it was that bad. Like that bad. Okay, it wasn't a great movie, but it wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna make my writers watch that scene. I don't remember that Jodie Foster movie repeatedly to do a screen accurate version of that scene, or I'm gonna make them watch Deliverance enough times that it's gonna seem really screen accurate. I don't know. Just like as a person who has a boss, I wouldn't want my boss to do that to me.
No, okay, so again, you gotta, at least how I always took that joke is, I mean, it's literally happening on screen, but they're paper cutout. I'm not available on camera, but my spirit is here randomly. Trump was the funniest part, but I was bummed he wasn't original. Saddam ripoff. The episode overall wasn't very funny. Oh man, I disagree wholeheartedly.
Oh, that is
That's
yeah,
that's
no.
Eric, by the way.
I mean, I could see how if you are a Trump supporter, you
Well,
probably
but
wouldn't find it
Eric,
funny.
and correct me if I'm putting words in your mouth, Eric. But Eric has really come off of with certain current events. He's kind of off. He's definitely off the Trump
Is
train.
it the Epstein thing?
That's one. That's one of many. There's been a
Really?
lot of
That's
things.
there's been a
Well,
lot of things.
I'm in the
Oh,
same
okay.
boat. Like you can
Color
watch
me
our election
surprised.
episode. You can watch it's for me. It started with immigration, and it just got worse and worse.
I don't mean this in a disparaging way to Eric, but would you characterize himself or you characterize him as more of a supporter than you,
At
based
at
upon watching you guys?
at one point, but I think again, not to put words in his mouth. I think Eric
No, I
was
wouldn't
just.
want to.
I would characterize Eric as more anti-Biden than pro-Trump, although we
Oh,
were
okay. No, no,
both
fair.
we
Totally
were
fair.
both definitely pro-Trump, but as time went on, and as Eric will he was never on any train. And I will give credit where credit's due. Eric is very and
Oh, fair enough.
he's very clear about this for years.
So Eric wouldn't characterize himself as MAGA.
Oh no, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, no, fair enough. Fair enough.
We say it in jest.
Oh,
We
okay. Oh,
yeah.
okay.
For I know Eric's big thing is the Epstein list, which not to get off topic, but I guess we're still talking about Trump. Um,
I
it's
mean, they sure accused him of being on it.
well, no, I mean he's on it. It's already been we've been
I've
that's
seen
old
so
news.
many funny memes. One of my favorite was the well, don't you know that Bill Clinton is probably on it? And
Yeah.
I saw a meme that was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna have to get rid of my Bill Clinton hat and my Bill Clinton t-shirt and my Bill Clinton mug and all of my Bill Clinton merchandise that I don't own."
God, I've lost my train of thought. Um, I know for Eric the Epstein list is the big. Oh, okay, now I remember.
I
Is
don't blame him.
I'm calling the shot. I think Maxwell is going to get a pardon for
Really?
basically no information. I mean, they keep hitting at it. They keep hitting at it.
She got rejected by the oversight committee today.
Well, yeah,
Pardon got
but
rejected.
Trump can pardon her.
Yeah, I don't. My my thing is when JD came out and was like, no, this is the most transparent. He doesn't have
Oh,
anything to
oh,
hide, and it's like, well, I don't know,
this
man. If he doesn't have anything to hide, why does he look like someone who has something to hide?
well, and this will be a joke on South Park sooner rather than later. So it's coming out now, and I love how the news is put a pin on that, Eric. I'll read your comment in a second. Um, I love how the news is treating this as it's like a news story that's actually breaking news that nobody knew or at least thought about. Is now the unedited raw security camera footage of Epstein's cell is now coming into question. And I saw what they're talking about. At one point, there's a fucking mouse cursor going across the screen.
Of course
So
there
it's not.
is.
Oh, and you compare different parts of the footage, which is allegedly unedited, and there's a trash can that moves places.
Of course it
And I'm just
does.
like, this is not this is not exactly like hard to figure out.
I've seen so many great, like I've seen people who like, yeah, man. I think the reason why a lot of people who support him are kind of put off by it is because it's the first time he's done this to people on my side, like for 8 years. It's the first time it's happening to people he supports, and I think that's why they're so put off by it. Is because they're like, whoa, not me. You wouldn't do that to me. We like you.
No, he absolutely would. And I agree. Eric was about to say just that. Financially, he's supporting Trump, like economically. Not he's not giving money. He means economically. Um, but if Trump does pardon Maxwell, that means he's guilty as fuck.
Yeah, yeah. Well, okay. So I'm not a lawyer, and I'm firmly established, very Canadian. I don't think we have an equivalent. But Jordan's asked me this question multiple times. How is not invoking the Fifth Amendment not an automatic admission of guilt?
Because, funnily enough, I got schooled a little bit more on this by Legal Eagle in a video today. Because there are several reasons why, especially in a criminal trial, you may want to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Meaning that, okay, I'm trying to think of a good example of this. So, for example,
Yeah.
Trump, this is a very broad example. Trump may not want to answer certain questions about Jeffrey Epstein because while it may not the Fifth Amendment is designed to protect you from being forced to incriminate yourself. But there are many reasons why you may want to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Most attorneys just agree that if you're the one on trial, then you just shut the fuck up. Fifth Amendment,
So it's a
everything.
context thing. So like depending on the so when like as an example, there's a video deposition of Jeffrey Epstein, and he's asked a question about Trump that makes Trump look guilty, and he invokes the Fifth Amendment. In that case, it makes him look guilty, right? And that
Well,
makes
funny,
him look
funny.
not whether or not he is guilty, it makes him look guilty.
Well, no, funny enough, because I know the deposition you're talking about, and that was actually from a civil case. So in that context, you can invoke your Fifth Amendment right. However, the fact that you invoked it can sort of allude to,
In fact, you have
um,
something to hide.
well, more than that, liability.
Oh,
It
interesting.
can infer liability, but the reason you would use it in a civil suit is if, a question regarding that particular civil suit may uh, give out some information that could lead to criminal charges. So
Interesting.
that's why it's
Interesting.
kind of it's just like you said, it's like, well, that kind of makes a motherfucker look guilty.
My other okay, so I'm not a not Trump defender, but I am a logical and see both sides kind of person when it comes to a thing, right? So I will concede that it is a little strange that this stuff is conveniently coming out now. If you had all
Yeah.
of this information, all of these letters, so-called letters, I apparently Trump. I saw one person on. Okay, my thumb when it comes to right-wing thinking is two spaces. It's you and Eric, and it's Twitter. Um, and if I
Well,
see
hang on, there's a fucking gap there.
no, that there's a very
There's a
wide gap.
huge gap
That's
there.
why I said it allows my circle to be nice and large. It allows me so when I say Twitter, like it's like Matt Wall, Steven Crowder,
It's like a
Charlie Kirk.
horseshoe.
Yeah, it's a little bit. I trust you guys the most. I trust them the least. Um,
Well, the
but
difference, the difference being that Eric and I both are not,
I wouldn't.
we don't have an ideology chained to our hips.
You do not. You do not. That's why I
So,
respect you guys because you guys are open-minded and you're willing to talk to me. Which can it's far that can be said about some left-leaning people out there. Um, but um, they were like, um, oh, I lost it. Oh, they were saying that JD Vance leaked it. That they had heard that JD Vance had leaked it.
maybe. I'm not gonna
to
lie, that would not surprise me.
as hey, I'm gonna fill the role of your conspiracy guy today, and the reason being is apparently it's all part of Project 2025. That Trump, as part of Project 2025, has served his usefulness and can now be gotten rid of.
I think that's a little too far. I just think
I
that
don't disagree, but that's what Twitter's saying. That's what
if
the right wing Twitter people are saying. So
well, of course, because they have to support certain people in that movement have to support Trump no matter what. And the level of ass licking is kind of
you mean the
incredible.
ball chinitis?
Yes, the Balchinitis.
The ball chin. So speaking of Charlie Kirk, I mean we kind of have to mention he's Cartman.
Oh yeah, and that's going to be hilarious. And I will give credit where credit's due. I saw a video, I think I sent it to you. Charlie
Yeah,
Kirk
yeah.
commented on it. I'll be honest, I think he gets the joke and I think that he's okay with it.
I certainly he seems to have a sense of humor about it, which I think I responded to you by saying, it looks like he disagrees with Trump on at least one thing. Uh, um, but I just there was one time in my I will admit, um, even I have been offended by South Park, but I didn't whine about it on the internet. But there was an episode that did offend me, and
Ooh,
it
I
was
have to know it.
the one with Cartman and the Buddy Box, where they tried to be like anytime a person says they have anxiety, they're just looking for attention. Um, I have anxiety and I get anxious, and that affronted me because they're like, no, I'm not just doing it for attention. Like they tried to be like, oh, it's just all it's all in your head. And I was like, I
That
don't.
must be is that a newer episode?
Reasonably newer episode.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Cartman's walking around with the box on his head. He's like, I'm in my own bubble and I don't want to be disturbed.
So here's the thing with Cartman, and it's present in the, and I'm not because I haven't seen that episode, so I haven't. It's very easy to, how do I word this? Because it's not that people take the joke the wrong way. It's just that you have to understand if Cartman is doing it or saying it, it is not the show condoning that idea. It is the exact opposite.
Here's the thing. I think that used to be the case. Now, especially in newer shit, I think that Cartman is their way to sneak in what they really think.
See,
And then the,
I disagree, and
it's just a lot of what Cartman was saying today reflects and a lot of the interviews I saw them doing at Comic-Con sort of intersect a little bit. And there's been interviews they've done where it intersects with what Cartman is saying. So I do think that they went too far and they did drink a little bit of the really obnoxious anti-woke people because they exist.
oh, for sure,
I think they drank
well,
that Kool-Aid a little bit, where they were like, things have gotten too PC or whatever. Like, I think they drank it a little bit. And I think this is them pulling back on it a little bit.
we'll see. I think this episode is like, because I think what you're talking about is when they were making fun of PC going too far. That was them saying that. Now, I think because I've heard them talk about this is, well, now that because in sort of the zeitgeist, culturally speaking, I'm not saying woke is dead, but woke is definitely down. So,
I don't disagree.
but what do you do
I
with a character like Cartman when,
yeah.
and I think that transition is hilarious, which by the way, I have to shout out a gag that I didn't catch the first time I watched the episode, but I caught it the second time when Cartman is in Butter's parents' car doing the suicide,
Yeah.
and then it cuts to a couple different scenes, and it's basically a bunch of people in South Park talking about, well, a little woke's not that bad, and then Mr. Stotch is like, we're proud to say the Stotch family owns an electric car, and then it cuts back to Cartman and Butters in the electric car, but they don't realize it's an electric car, so there's
Oh
no
my God,
fumes,
I totally didn't get that.
right?
Oh my God. Oh my God, that's so fun. That explains why they're taking the hose and it's not killing. Oh my God, I totally missed that. That's funny.
That's
That is funny. That is
hilarious.
very fun. Well, I mean, one of my favorite South Park jokes, because the thing is, while I do think they have the tendency to be very hypocritical, and I do dump on them a lot. I do respect Matt and Trey because they're really good writers. They're really good writers. And one of my
They're
favorite
very
jokes,
good. I mean, 27, well, probably more like 24
28.
seasons.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know. Six episodes. Oh man, 6 episode seasons. Bullshit. Anyway, but no, one of my favorite South Park jokes of all time is during the first Trump term. It was the Tweak and Craig. They sing a song called "Put It Down." Where how you shouldn't text and be president at the same time. And people, there's a hidden layer in that joke that people don't get, where it's all of these people saying they're president, and the joke being that literally, since Trump is president, literally anyone can be president. And it's just like nobody gets that, nobody appreciates that joke. That's a really clever joke that
I
people
do,
miss.
I do get that. I did get that joke, and that's why I love that song. It is hilarious. I gotta say though, my favorite South Park song of all time, it's probably it's a close second would be Up There from the movie,
Oh man, that's a
but
good one.
my favorite song of theirs probably has to be Let's Fighting Love.
Let's Fighting Love also good. It's also good. I just love how
Well,
it's
because
gibberish in Japanese.
it's not gibberish. It's not gibberish at all. That's real Japanese.
Well, I know that Trey speaks Japanese. At least he
Oh
used to.
no,
I don't know
it's
how
it's real Japanese.
is it, but I know it's real Japanese, but like in Japanese, it's essentially
Oh no,
like
no. See, because I looked this up, and this is why I love that song. So hang on.
I do love that song. Yeah, the
While
my
I'm
my
while
opinion,
I'm
the prior to this, the best thing was I love the concert video of them playing it and the entire audience going, "Let's fighting." Super funny.
I love how we stop singing right when everybody screams "Protect my balls."
Yeah.
So
That
I'm
concert is
looking,
so good.
it's really good. Um, while I'm lyric, while I'm pulling this up, if you enjoy conversations like this, deep dives into pop culture, well, let me tell you, there's a podcast where we do that almost every week. That being Toon Talk 2.0, you can catch myself and my co-host Virus Vox as we stick it to pop culture every
Forever
week.
the agent of chaos, Virus Fox,
I
sending
think
you
I
topics that you don't fully understand until you're on the podcast.
yes. Okay. Okay, so the translated lyrics to Let's Fighting Love are as follows. Wonderful penis thing. There are hairs on my balls. It sounds like that monkey Bobo. No, ninjas are here. And then when it said, hey, hey, let's go Kenkasuru, it's hey, hey, let's go fighting. Important thing, protect my balls. I'm a badass, so let's fighting love. Let's fighting love. And then verse 2, this song is a little stupid. I don't understand the reason. The English is irrational. It's okay. We do it all the time. And then it goes into the chorus again.
Yeah, I know that Trey does. I don't know if he still speaks it. Well, I assume you stay fluent, but
I
he
bet he
he like
does.
was married to a Japanese woman for like the longest time. He
Yeah,
at one
well, and
point,
the whole Jim Pokemon gag with the penis, apparently that was
yeah, based on someone he
something that
knew.
actually happened. Yeah.
Yeah. No, they were gonna at one point. Like they were big into. At least Trey was big into Japanese stuff. Like at one point they were gonna do a kaiju movie. Like it was gonna be a parody of a kaiju movie, and they just didn't end up making it,
Oh,
which is
please.
just so disappointing. I think it was
Oh, I would
After Team
kill.
America. They just were put off the idea of making movies forever, and they stopped making movies.
I can see that, but that's a shame that Matt and Trey didn't make a Suitmation kaiju
I
movie.
know, right? It would have been so good. But no, the townspeople in Jesus felt like that. Yeah, that was
Oh,
like Matt and Trey being like, yeah, maybe it was maybe the woke shit went too far, but yeah, you could have a little empathy, and we could care a little bit a bit about the environment. And but it was funny though because you don't watch Rick and Morty, but do you know Dan Harmon at all? Like, are
yeah,
you
I'm
familiar?
aware of him. Yeah.
Did you watch Community?
No, I did not.
No, okay. Well, they interviewed him for Rick and Morty at Comic-Con, and he took what, in my opinion, because everyone's talking about South Park, what kind of felt like a jab at South Park, where they were asking him about season 10 of the show or whatever. He's like, "Yeah, well, we can't react to pop culture, right in the moment. So you're never gonna see an episode about the Epstein list with us or Trump with us. We're not gonna do that. We have to do stuff a bit broader than that." And this was like the day after South Park. Everyone's talking about South Park. No one's talking about Rick and Morty. So I'm
Well,
like, I'm like,
that
ooh,
just
someone seems a little jealous.
I was gonna say that just seems like jealous, and it's like, hey, that's why they do the animation the way they do. It's
right?
their deal. Like,
They well again, to be fair, I don't think they have been for the past since they've been doing the specials. Like I don't think any of the specials they did in a week. I think they
no,
did
no,
that
no, no. But
over.
I mean, just in the scheme of the show,
Oh, in the
like,
scheme of the show, yeah. If anyone full bore recommendation, more people need to watch 6 Days to Air because not enough people know how South Park works. It
well,
was
and
quite embarrassing.
maybe the best example of that was the episode that aired after Obama won in 2008.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
I
that
made
is
a joke about that where it's like, do you think that they think that on the other side, the right side, you think that they think that Obama is actually a Ocean's 11 style thief who became president to pull off an elaborate? No, wait, they might actually believe that. They probably would believe that.
well, here's the thing about South Park too is they're always talking from somebody. This is coming from somebody who, generally speaking, doesn't like subversion for subversion's sake. Subversion can be good
Oh,
because
really? I do, but I think you probably know that about me
well,
by
but
now.
I think a lot of times it's when I say subversion for subversion's sake, it's usually not done well. Because I like a good subversion, but when it's done well and it's making a point,
But
South Park's
there's a but with that
deal.
though.
Well, yeah, because a lot of times it sucks, and
Everyone's got a line.
well,
Like for
and
example, like today I was talking to Haley about Jesus Christ Superstar, and I went, Cynthia Erivo as Jesus is kind of like, I mean, he was neither black nor was he a woman. That kind of feels like subversion for
well,
subversion's sake.
you better not say Jesus wasn't black on the internet.
Well, I mean, he was Middle Eastern because he was from the Middle East, but I
That
mean,
means black. Where's Africa, man? It's
but like
not there, but it's right there.
he was Middle Eastern, so he
And
was
it's North
probably
Africa, by the
brown.
way. Oh,
He's
for sure.
probably he was brown, but he wasn't a black woman. So it's like for that was the part where I went, okay, that might be a bridge too far for me. Um, but and I love Cynthia Erivo, but I'm like, all right, that seems odd, especially when the entire rest of the cast is male and white. It's very weird.
Hey, just throwing it out there. Just throwing this out there. At the time of Jesus's life, whether man or son of man, um, it was part of the Roman Empire.
It's true.
So there would have been there very well could have been black folks in
It's
Israel at the
possible. It's
time.
certainly possible. I said to Haley, she has to do an episode on that because I'm looking to get fully canceled.
Yeah, Haley just said I didn't think you were going to say that just now.
Guys, when have we learned that I'm perfectly willing to get canceled on the internet?
I want to
That's how
make
you
that
get
a t
famous.
I want to make that a t-shirt. It's like, okay, I'm not sure exactly what color Jesus was, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't a black woman.
I'm pretty sure he was neither black nor was he a woman. It's just weird in that cast in particular because I'm
Look,
reasonably sure every other cast member is a white male. It's like, okay, if you're gonna race swap and gender
see,
bend Jesus, why not do Judas? Like just go the full like Jordan always says
see,
that. For him it's the half-heartedness. He's like, if you're gonna do it, go for it.
fair enough. Fair enough. That would be an example of a bad inversion, or as I've kind of call it in my life, inversion for inversion's sake.
Yeah, it's just doing it to do it. It's
Wait,
doing it because they know
subversion.
people are
I
gonna
said
get big mad on the internet. That's
I
why.
said inversion. I meant subversion, but
Yeah.
you know
But
what
no,
I'm about.
South Park, I don't find they subvert for the sake of it. Usually they
No,
have a
no.
point. Oh,
Well,
okay.
that's
Here's a question, a South Park related question for you. Are you
okay.
familiar with Drawn Together?
Yes, I
Have you
love
seen
that
the Drawn
show.
Together movie?
No, I have not seen the movie.
No. Okay, so okay. I'm gonna try to do this as PG a fashion as possible. Um, there's a character on that that's a clear parody of South Park. It's a character called Suck My Taint Girl, and she has replaced the Drawn Together show, and the Drawn Together show has got canceled so she can be on the air and replace them. And she is very definitely a parody of South Park. Like she moves like them, she's animated like them, whatever. But her whole bit is she hates Drawn Together because Drawn Together is just gross for the sake of it. And they're like, oh, anytime you make a dirty or a disgusting joke, you have to have a point. You have to have a point. So every time she makes it, like at one point, she makes a joke about a person who's bipartisan, who's like a troll with glasses who eats his own shit. And she's like, the joke is that all bipartisan people eat their own shit. And she explains it. Every time she makes a joke, she explains it. She's like, that's the point to the joke. And it kind of implies that they have this weird beef against South Park as being these like snooty, holier than thou guys who think every joke has to have a point. And
They
I'm
are a
like,
little bit.
South Park is dick and butt jokes, man. I don't know what like Are they though? Would you say? Would you agree with that characterization of them?
Okay, I'm gonna amend my statement. No, I don't think they are, but I think a lot of people perceive them that way because
Okay, that's interesting. That's an interesting.
almost exclusively because I think this trend started with the Cartoon Wars
Oh,
episodes.
for sure. Yeah, for sure.
I think
There.
that is when they kind of had this air of superior, or when they had this perceived air of superiority. Because I'm with you. I think Matt and Trey would all look at that and be like, "Have our first episode was a third grader getting an anal probe."
We're taking fart jokes, man. Like I don't know what you're like, but yeah, they can be. They can be really well. Someone described them as self-righteous libertarians, which
I
like
mean, I think personally they are for sure. I can
yeah, oh
see
yeah. I
that
mean, I've made tons of jokes about how well there's people who are like, I mean, the conservatives are mad at them today. The liberals were mad at them last year,
because
right?
they don't get the joke. Because
No.
I've said this a lot lately too. That episode, like, yes, it was taking the piss out of Trump, but that was more goading him because I think for them, because a lot of times too, and a lot of the times my favorite jokes from South Park are the ones that you can tell are jokes for themselves.
Oh
Like
yeah, those are
they
yeah, yeah,
put
yeah.
those jokes in there because they think it's funny. I.e., the example I always make, and we talked about this on our show, The Final Frontier, is they did an entire episode that was basically just a comedic retelling of the Star Trek TOS episode Dagger of the Mind. But for some reason, and I've never heard an explanation other than Trey Parker saying, I just thought it was funny, was how the guy can't pronounce the T in Planet Area.
See, my favorite South Park episodes are the ones which aren't topical. Like they're the ones that are just the kids being kids.
The kids
Like
being get well, let's fighting love, right?
yeah, yeah, that's
That's
one of my
one of
favorite episodes.
that's one of my
I
favorite
love the Stick of
episodes.
Truth. If you've
The
never
Stick of
played the
Truth
Stick of
is
Truth,
it's an awesome uh Return of the what's the whole name of it? Return of the Fellowship to the Two Towers.
yes, that's also a phenomenal
It's
episode.
a
Yeah,
fantastic and the whole
yeah.
Black Friday trilogy. I mean, I guess that's kind of I it's kind of topical in the sense that every year Black although it's not as bad as it once was, at least I think.
Yeah.
It's kind of commenting on Black Friday, but it's more taking the piss out of Game of Thrones.
Okay? You know what's really funny about that episode? There's a Facebook status where I made this joke once before, but I had never watched Game of Thrones prior to seeing that episode. And Butters misled me to the amount of wiener that is in Game of Thrones. There is not that much wiener in Game of Thrones. There, you don't see it, and when you do see him, you don't really see him, and I mean they're not really all that floppy. You know. He said there
He's
was
not.
way more wiener in that show than I was led to believe.
The joke isn't so much that there's a lot of wiener in that show. It's the fact that if you go through and count the number of times the word cock is said in that show, the joke is that George R. R. Martin has an obsession with dicks. And
No, but it's
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. That song gets stuck in my head way more often than
wiener,
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 wiener, wiener, wiener.
wiener, wiener.
Um, but like for me, yeah, I guess it's because I watched 6 Days to Air. So like that documentary really puts you in the mindset of how their writing process is, and once you see that writing process and you watch the episodes, you're like, yeah, there's a lot of specific things about Trump and his. Oh, did you said it was okay to call it a regime? Are we allowed to call it a regime yet?
I think technically, it's administration. It's an administration.
Administration. They've got a lot of beef with, and it's weird. I always perceived them as being religious. Like I always thought that they were
Matt and
religious
Trey
based
are
on the material.
absolutely not.
It's interesting because I would have painted them as like not like devotedly so, but like they might occasionally go to church, kind of.
No,
But
I
they
don't think
really
so.
seem to take issue with Jesus being in schools, with religion being in schools. Like they really, really seem to have an issue with that.
Well, yeah, that's the joke. That
No, I get that that's the joke, but like it's weird how passionate they are about that. Like that to me
well,
is a
see, I'm
very clear line in the sand for them for some
it
reason.
that see. Here's the funny thing is, as someone who now goes to church again, that's a firm line in the sand for me. I would be
Really?
abs. Well, okay, so there's some dickhead in Oklahoma, I think it is,
Yeah.
who is like I think they passed it and they're gonna get if they haven't already, they're gonna get sued in like an hour when I saw this video. where apparently they passed some kind of constitutional amendment, or they're trying to pass some kind of state constitutional amendment that mandates Bibles in school classrooms. And I'm like,
and
guys,
and, and as a person, because full disclosure, I don't believe in this stuff.
I mean,
So,
fair enough.
but as somebody who does believe in this stuff,
Well, I'm not going to go that far.
with an asterisk,
Well,
just to
not to dig into this. I have gone back to church for two main reasons. One of which is to make my in 3 days wife happy, but also because I think about this
oh,
shit all the time.
am I allowed to ask how you pronounce your fiance's name?
Marjorie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for reasons that you're gonna understand on Saturday. I'm sorry. We're both
Oh,
really
that's right.
really
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. I forgot. I have not watched that video. In fact, I forgot
No,
about it.
I know that you haven't because if you had, yeah,
Don't
you
worry.
would have messaged me right away.
I made the same mistake.
But but for reasons that will become apparent on Saturday, we're really sorry. We
She's
tried.
she's used to it. It's
Okay, cool,
I
cool.
explained. I was like, letters work differently here.
Yeah. I'm a Canadian who barely speak. Jordan speaks a little Spanish, but I speak no Spanish. But I was curious. I was like, how do we anyway? Sorry.
Well, but just going back, I don't want to, because we're not talking about this right now. But so I think about this stuff a lot, and even in terms of like my questions about religion are less about the epistemology of it all, like
Mhm.
because I'm of the belief that there's no way, even if the overall story is factual, there's no way that everything in here is true.
Oh,
There's
well, I
no
mean,
way.
I would argue perhaps that maybe a lot of that first half of it is probably allegorical, and the second
And so would the people that wrote it, but
and yeah, and the second half of it is probably based in part on real events.
oh, sure, in part, but the vast majority of the second part are one. This is controversial, and actually, I hope my pastor does see this because it'll make for a real. I am waiting for myself to get invited to a Bible study, and I'm just going to tell them one thing. I'm like, you're going to really want to think about whether you want me to come to that group because it will not be a fun time for you.
I mean, I don't. Look. I don't like getting on here and making fun of people who are religious. It doesn't feel cool. But I will say there was a really funny video of Marjorie Taylor Greene being like, "I wonder why America isn't in the Bible," not really considering the fact that people from like the first century would have no conception of what America is, and this book was very much written by people. Like people who
Oh my
probably wouldn't
God.
disagree that the book was written by people when it was written. God, I
Well,
just I just really hope she gets voted out in your next election, Jake. I really do. Every
well,
election, I hope she gets voted out every single time.
I mean, to be fair, they knew about America.
I watched a really good video about Mormons recently, but
I actually well, I'll disclose. So I'm trying to do a series of interviews with religious leaders on my solo podcast, the Arte podcast, and I made the mistake of approaching the Church of Latter-day Saints because fun
oh,
fact, th-
no.
well, no, it wasn't initially a mistake. It became one.
Yeah, oh, I could have
I
probably warned you about that.
I kind of had a feeling, but man, they're zippy. Um, but
They're very nice. We're being
they
mean.
are, and because of that, I have actually amended. I no longer refer to them as Mormons because they don't like that.
No, they really don't.
They are not.
They
They
really
are the
don't like
church.
that.
They are the Church of Latter-day Saints.
Yup.
Anyway, I went to a service at the Church of Latter-day Saints, and I'll just say this much: it's a very jarring experience, especially if you're from a Christian background, because half of it is very familiar, and then the other half is just like, the fuck is
Okay.
going
I
on here?
I, I guess this is probably my moment where I tell I have two Mormon stories. Um, okay. So this is South Park related. This is South Park related because it's about the Book of Mormon, not the Book of Mormon, but the
The
musical The
Book
Book
of
of Mormon.
Mormon.
Yeah. Hello. Um, I want them to make that a movie so badly. You have
So
no
bad.
idea.
I do
Um,
too.
but
With Andrew
anyway,
Reynolds and Josh Gad.
I got really into the Book of Mormon. Just really into it. And I was fascinated by it. And when I was a teenager, my uncle, because my uncle was much like yourself, studying to be a pastor. He went to Bible college and he had a bunch of so I kind of started to read it one day. And when I was really into the Book of Mormon, I was going home from somewhere and there was a bunch of Mormons standing around and they were like, "Hey, would you want to chat about the whatever?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" Because I was avoiding going home and they were just so put off by my enthusiasm. And
I can attest to that because that's how I got this copy.
what?
No, no, I can because I that's how I got this copy.
I don't
They
know.
can this was many years before I reached out to them, so I've had this.
I
And
still have a copy.
they even included a post-it. You can't see. Yeah, they included a post-it with some recommended reading. Um,
Yeah,
oh wow,
that's
okay. They even left their name and phone number in here. Shout out to Elder Speaker and Elder Chantry. His name,
yeah,
your name is Speaker. That's perfect.
right?
Okay, but anyway, they came to the door and I was home alone and kind of bored. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll hear the sales pitch.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And my other story was a similar story, but um I have problems saying no to people who want to talk to me, which
Yeah.
you probably figured out. Especially in person, I'm too polite. I'm one of those people where if you try to sell me something, I'll sit there and listen to the pitch. There's two times. One week, me and my friend, me, Jordan, and our friend wound up sponsoring an African child. Because we stood there and talked to a guy who was very charismatic and talked us into to sponsoring a child in Africa. And then the other time was, yeah, I was standing at a bus stop in the rain and another Mormon came up and talked to me. And I wound up agreeing to go visit their church. And I couldn't think of a way to get out of it. And I went home and my mom was like, "No, no, you're not. You're not going to the Mormon church. That's weird." Um, and they kept phoning me for like months, months and months and months. They kept phoning me. "You sure you don't want to come check out the church?" Which is why when you're like, "I made the mistake," I'm like, "Yeah, I could see why that happened." They're
So
very enthusiastic.
there is one thing that the Church of Latter-day Saints does that I actually really appreciate just from a because again, if this is a belief system for you, this makes a lot of sense. So after service, they do an hour of classroom instruction. That is not
Oh,
it's not mandatory, but it's highly encouraged. But I gotta say, I dig the idea.
yeah.
I really do. But fun fact, I actually own a copy of the Bhagavad Gita because my nephew and I were too nice and let a guy talk to us, and he even suckered us into a donation. This isn't the only book he gave us. He gave us two others, but my nephew has those, and I'm like, I'll take the Bhagavad Gita.
That's happened to me more times. Yeah, that was I had the conversation with my mom and my and her at the time
Oh, your
to
audio just
convert
cut out.
to Mormonism, and I'm like, No," and they're like, "Then you should probably stop leading them on." Like, yeah, you're probably right.
That's very funny.
You're
Well,
probably right.
we'll get back on track here in a moment, but we've already mentioned it, but we have to shout out the other sponsor. You guys, if you don't have it already, you should definitely subscribe to Paramount Plus, but use our link in the description because YouTube are dicks. And I have to see what direction my fingers, I believe that I need to be pointing this way. There's probably, if you're watching this, there's probably an ad for Paramount Plus right about there. Yeah, okay, right about there. Don't click on that one. You got to click on this one because that tells Paramount Plus that
That
we
one.
sent you and not YouTube because we deserve that money.
It's true.
So
It's true.
click that one. But yes, you
And
absolutely
also
should.
by extension, the president. Sorry.
But
The
yes, you should
president
have.
also deserves that money.
Wait, which president?
Your president, because he sued CBC,
Oh,
who's the
right, right.
CBS, and Paramount is
Well, technically,
he's
Matt and
getting a
Trey
little
are
bit of
going to
that
get
sweet, sweet ad revenue.
Matt and Trey are going to get the bulk of that money. But not only do you get the new season
That
of
is true.
South Park, but you also get favorites like the new season of Star Trek: Strange New Worlds for all you Trekkies out there. Not to mention
With the puppet episode.
every piece of Star Trek ever. And then there's a great number of series, including if you're fans of Yellowstone, you can get Yellowstone. 1893. Oh, what's the name of that damn show? Yeah, 1893.
I don't
1883.
remember.
Sorry, 1883. And then 1923 is on there as well. So there's just a lot of really good stuff to watch on it. So you should definitely subscribe to Paramount Plus, and it's one of the lesser expensive streaming services, and it's got a lot of solid content.
It does. I watched South Park on there today.
Yeah, you did. Because we're talking about Trump on there. So, okay. You may be wondering, actually, if you watch the episode, this should be fairly obvious to you, but you may be wondering why it's referred to as Sermon on the Mount. It's a Bible joke, ladies and gentlemen,
Yes, yes, it
because
is.
Jesus comes down to, and like in the Bible, he hands out bread and
It's the fucking bread.
he gives a sermon on, oh God, that made me laugh so hard.
Do you think I want to come back? There's so
They
much
will
power
shoot
now.
you. The fact that the joke in the episode is that Donald Trump sued Jesus and Jesus is now
Yeah.
talking up like it's a beautiful joke, and this is why I think there are way too many people who don't understand that this episode is a much bigger finger at Paramount than it is at Trump.
I mean, Trump. I think it's not. I mean, it is. It is at Trump. It is, but it's also, I think, at the people surrounding him as much as it is, as much as like the joke that people just kind of completely skipped over is when Trump enters and it's like Christ is all about the money, money. Like it's so cynical. He's like he only believes in Jesus and Christ because of it's valuable in terms of financially beneficial.
Well, yeah.
That is a cutting joke.
I mean, there's a lot of there's a lot of jokes in this episode, but I guess the difference, because you're right, it is a middle finger to Trump, but the middle finger to Trump is, and this is what I was been trying to say the whole episode. It's a middle finger to Trump in the sense that they're goading him, and he's going to take the bait because
We
what
did.
they want Donald Trump to sue a cartoon.
Of
That's what
course,
they
yeah.
want.
They want to get sued. They want to get sued. That's what
But
they want.
here's the pure evil genius of all this, right? So let's say that they do sue South Park. Well, here's the thing about lawsuits. They take time, and
Oh yeah.
South Park can crap out an episode in a week.
Hmm.
So as the whole trial, and discovery is a thing, so as this trial is going on, they're going to lampoon the whole thing the whole time, and they're going to escalate because if you noticed at the end of the episode, the gag, for those of you who haven't seen the episode, the last joke is the fact that Trump sues the town of South Park and they settle with him for $3 million, and they have to produce, the town has to produce pro Trump content. So the last bit of the show is a deep fake video of Donald Trump walking eventually naked through the desert.
Trump walked through the desert for you.
His penis is teeny tiny, but
His
his
penis
love
may
for
be
America
is
is
super
large.
wide.
But at the beginning of that, it's like a studio bumper, like a television bumper for the production people. It says
Yeah.
one of 50.
Yes, yes, it did. Yeah, yeah. But I
So
mean, they're only doing
there's going to
10
be more.
episodes, so I mean, unless they're gonna put them all online.
I they'll put some online for sure, and it's genius because some will just be online, some will be there might be two in an episode. Like it
Well, to
might
be
just be
fair,
it might just
Matt
be a
and
ploy to get us
Trey
to watch.
probably. Matt and Trey
Probably.
are, and Matt Stone said this, and I respected him. I respected him for saying it because I've been on my soapbox about anti AI fear mongering, and I am not pro AI. I think generative AI is a scourge, and it does hamper creativity. But I believe that AI is a tool that people need to learn to work with, and if you're afraid of AI, you need to not work harder, but be. And Matt Stone said, he said, "Oh, the stuff people are doing online with AI, it makes us want to work harder, and it makes us want to produce better content so that we're better." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's so refreshing! Like that's such a refreshing attitude."
Well, as someone who uses AI almost daily, but I use it to enhance my work.
Yeah, same. I use it as a tool. I use
Yeah,
it in conjunction with my work. So I use it to do the things I don't want to do. I use it to write YouTube descriptions. I use it to break up my videos into shorts.
yeah.
I don't use it to create content.
Right. I will occasionally use it to make a thumbnail, but the idea is mine. I just don't have the artistic talent. to
Right?
make it happen
I'm
because like we did a series on the Down the Middle podcast where I thought it would be funny and it was basically just to see how good Chat GPT was. Like full disclosure, I have no shame in admitting this. Is I had it create a thumbnail and it was so good that it was for our WrestleMania 41 predictions that we broke out from the episode and made individual clips. So
oh
each
yeah.
prediction video had its own thumbnail with some sort of artistic representation of the wrestlers involved. And
Oh,
I'm
that's fun.
proud of those because I told it what to make. Like the
Yeah.
idea was mine, it just enabled me to do it. But like the thumbnail of this episode, I took our average intelligence logo and I said, hey, redraw this as a South Park character. And it delivered beautifully.
Right? Like if you have an actual artist that you're paying and they are working with the AI to juice up their content, I don't think that's bad. And yeah, and there's certain uses of AI that I think is productive. But yeah, I think that it should be a tool that is used in conjunction with creativity, not to replace it.
For sure. For
It
sure.
shouldn't do that. It should do the stuff you don't want to do. Like, yeah, like for me, it's write YouTube descriptions. I don't want to write YouTube descriptions, so I use it to write YouTube descriptions, and I
But even then,
refuse to
I
feel
still
guilty about
proofread.
that.
But I still proofread them.
For the most part, yeah.
And I'll tweak it. I'll tweak it if need be.
I
But yeah, it
occasionally
was
leave
funny.
the tag on the end of it by accident, but
Hey, well, no, my favorite part of that whole deepfake video is not like when Trump got nude, it got weird.
it did
But
get weird.
when he's just in his underwear, I thought that was just such a hilarious image.
My favorite bit is how he's tanned from only the neck up.
Well, I mean,
That was funny.
I can't talk because like I've got a serious farmer stand going
Oh,
on.
I mean, so do I.
I
I'm
mean, it's
perpetually
bad.
pale.
It's bad.
If you grew up watching Recess, I'm pretty much pale kid. Like it's what I am.
I am
But
what I am.
the thing that was I was surprised to see they're bringing back the serialized because they hated it so much and it fucked them over so badly. I was surprised to see that this episode doesn't really have a resolution. Not really.
No, I think they're good.
Which is really antithetical to their writing style. They
But
always have resolutions.
to your point though, well, not always. Sometimes they do. Even before they did serialize, they would do like 2 or 3 part episodes occasionally.
True, that is true.
Um,
But for the most part, they usually have a resolution.
but again, my whole conspiracy behind this is I think they had the season pretty much done, but then
Oh yeah, I completely agree.
they're tweaking so much stuff.
I just don't like. Again, I've been seeing these clips of them pop up from Comic-Con, and they're like, "Oh no, we're still doing it like last minute. We don't know what we're doing for next week." But then they're like 2 weeks from now, and here's a promo for 2 weeks from now. So it's like, well, no, you're clearly lying. Like
Well,
you're
no,
clearly full of shit.
I think that episode is new. The whole Cartman Charlie Kirk one.
No, no, absolutely. But I mean, what I mean is like you clearly pre-made that episode, or you have some of it done. So yeah, that promo, they clearly were gonna do a Diddy episode. Like they were gonna do a Diddy episode. It was really obvious, and they
Well,
clearly pivoted last minute.
I think you can even make the case because they feel so in this episode. I think the whole joke about Woke being dead and Cartman being sad about it, I think that was already a thing.
Oh,
And
for
then
sure,
they
for
kind
sure.
of had they inserted the Trump stuff. And
Yeah,
I loved the gag where
I
they go
agree.
to Garrison's house to be like,
Yeah, and he's
"What
like,
the
what
hell
the
do you think you're doing, Garrison?" He's like, "Oh, what show were they watching? I can't remember, but it was a
White
funny gag."
something?
White Lotus.
So,
I'm
White
watching
Lotus.
White Lotus with Rick.
There's a lot of but see, and that's where you're like, you're right. People don't get South Park because people were getting really offended by them saying, oh, I don't want to say the words because I don't like the words, but okay, I'm gonna say it, faggot and retard. I'm so sorry. I immediately apologize, but I don't like those words. But they were saying that, and that people weren't getting the joke. The joke is that people just say those words comfortably now. Like that's the joke. Like people that like that's what they were saying. That was the fact that they could just say it and they feel comfortable saying it.
It's the they took our jobs guy.
Yeah, yeah. The joke is that yeah, that it's gone too far. Like
Well,
that's
it's
the joke. That's the
as
joke.
as Kevin Smith points out in An Evening with Kevin Smith, is like, but we have the idiot in the movie say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that's the point. The idiot is wrong.
I there I watched his what Jay and Silent Bob cartoon. And yeah, he does the same joke in that movie too, where he comes as like, I don't. Kevin Smith don't think that way. Jay thinks that way. Jay
Yeah.
be a moron.
Well, because the whole
Um,
thing was somebody in the for those who haven't seen it, because I it's startling how old An Evening with Kevin Smith is now, and it makes me feel very old to think about that.
that's
But
such a good special though.
it's so good. For those who have not seen it, um, it's what it sounds like. It's a bunch of footage of Kevin Smith speaking at college campuses, and he's taking questions from people in the audience. And one person at one school, she's basically asking if Kevin Smith thinks his work is, I guess it would technically be homophobic and misogynistic, because she's making the point that because in the movie Chasing Amy, Banky makes the point that all a lesbian really needs is a good deep dicking, is the line in the movie. And
Not my
Kev,
opinion. This is the line of the movie.
well, but Kevin cannot get this poor girl to understand that Banky and it's very clear in the film Chasing Amy, Banky saying that Banky is an idiot. And that's the point of Banky saying the whole, I'm not even going to say it's a gag because it's a whole through line, is that Banky is simultaneously ignorant and jealous of
Yes.
Alyssa. And so he's showing his ignorance, but also trying to make her seem unattractive to Holden.
Also, and I would point out, and I think I pointed this out when I talked about that movie, which was that yeah, he's saying a lot of homophobic stuff, but his best friend's also a gay guy.
Right.
He's got
Yeah.
like he's fronting for him to allow him to do this bit at conventions. Like he's friends with a gay guy, right?
That's a
Um,
new being.
yeah. Who goes like that movie's weird homophobic stuff from like the weirdest most homophobic moment in that movie is the gay black guy being like talking about how much he hates lesbians. That's way more homophobic than anything Banksy does or Banky or like
Banky.
a lot of the Ben Affleck stuff where Ben Affleck is clearly a stand-in for Kevin Smith and his gross misunderstanding of lesbians um it comes across. But that to be fair to Kevin Smith, he said this. He was young when he wrote that, right? You have a different mindset. You think differently, and the world was just different back then.
Yeah,
So it's
that's the world was
would
different.
never hold him sort of and he's be like
Well,
you canceled.
to put this into perspective, what was that? Was that 1996? That seems right for Chasing Amy.
No, I think it's later than that.
Is it? It's mid to late 90s
It's towards. I
because
know it's towards the end of the '90s for sure.
well, because the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones is in the soundtrack. Anyway,
That's funny. That dates it immediately.
I love that
The only
song though.
reason I know who they are is because of Sesame Street. I'm not even gonna lie.
Nice. Um,
Mighty
so
Mighty
it, so
Boston.
again, for those of you who haven't seen Chasing Amy, the character Hooper X is a gay black man who's a comic book artist, and his comic book is a hyper masculine, like what would you call it, like superpowered African tribesman. It's kind of a
It's
Black Panther parody.
yeah, it's like Afrocentrism, like
Yeah, yeah,
kind
but
of thing. White man's the enemy, you know.
yeah, well, he's yeah. The name of the comic book is on the nose, but it's for comedic effect. But anyway, Um, in that movie, it's actually in that time period, it's actually believable that a black comic book artist would have to put on
Oh
basically a
yeah,
character.
absolutely, very
To
believable.
today, it would be insulting, but that's why like a an uninformed Gen Zer watching that movie would not only be confused, but they would actually be offended. But it's because they
Yeah,
don't understand that the world was different. I'm
that's
not
a
saying,
lot of Kevin Smith's movies. You have to understand Kevin Smith in order to get why it's not bigoted. Like, no, he's not a bad guy. He's very earnest and he's just a little uninformed. But like 10 years, he's gonna get it. Don't worry.
but I think
Like,
he would admit that because he also tells the story about how basically he got called out for not having any gay characters in his movies, and he was like, you know what, you're right. So he's like, so from then on, I tried to put at least one non-negative gay character
yeah.
in
Kevin,
every one of my movies.
no one's And no one's Kevin Smith's biggest critic than Kevin Smith, sometime to his own detriment.
Well, because he still insists that Jersey Girl's a bad movie, and I'm just
He's
like,
wrong.
no, you're
He's
wrong, sir.
sorry, Kevin Smith. You're my dream is to have him on a podcast and talk to him and be like, dude, you need to stop shitting all over
You
Jersey
do. You need
Girl.
to stop
That
apologizing for
movie's
Jersey Girl.
good.
It brought my fiance to tears. All right.
It's really good.
It's
Like
a
when they
really good
sing Sweeney
movie.
Todd at the end, I was like, oh, it's getting me.
Well,
It's
because
getting me.
here's the thing about Jersey Girl, and this might be a hot take, but I don't consider it a hot take. I want more movies like Jersey Girl. It's just a cute little movie. It knows what it is, and it's not trying to be anything but, and it's
That's the
just a
movie.
cute little movie,
That's the movie that made me go, George Carlin's a good actor. Because like
right?
that scene between him and Ben Affleck at the end, where George Carlin just sits with it for a moment.
Yeah,
Kevin Smith can direct. Like that is a good scene. And then I watched Tusk and I was like, oh, Kevin,
yeah.
what are you doing? Stop smoking weed. It's bad for you.
And then
Don't write
there's
movies when you're high.
Yoga hosers.
Oh yeah. That okay. That you want to talk about times I was offended? That movie offended me as a Canadian. Like as have you seen Yoga Hosers?
Not in its entirety. I turned it off.
That movie offends me as a Canadian because it turns I don't know if you get this in, but it turns I don't not that I have a culture, but it turns my cultural identity into a costume and a joke and not a very funny one.
I understand, but you also have to understand that as an American, internationally, our culture is always a joke. And
No,
I'm
I
fine
yeah,
with that.
that's yeah.
And I'm fine with it. I love seeing American characters portrayed in particularly animated foreign media. It's always a hoot. It's
Hey, look,
always funny.
I'm proud of my Canadian about my Canadianness on South Park. I don't think that joke's very funny either, but I'm proud of it.
Oh, I think
I
that
don't
joke's
get where that
hilarious.
stereotype comes from, but I think it's funny.
You know what
I
I
laugh.
honestly think it is. I think it was them adapting to a seemingly random art decision that they made early with Ike, but then when Ike
Uh,
became Canadian, they
oh,
had
you don't
to.
think Canadian? You don't think I started off as Canadian?
I don't think so.
Interesting. According to them, that is, and I quote, just how Canadians talk. But
Oh no, I mean the voice maybe. I'm talking about the floppy head and beady
no,
eyes.
the floppy head. They're like, that's just how Canadians talk. I've seen an interview with Trey where he talks about it.
Oh,
Trey, I
maybe.
love watching interviews with them. Like one of my all-time favorite interviews with Trey Parker is when he was doing Despicable Me 2, or no, sorry, Despicable Me 3. And he clearly just did it because he has a child and he wanted to have something his child could watch.
Hey, fair
But
enough.
there was an interview where they asked him, "What do you think the appeal of the Minions is?" And he's like, "Oh, they're just pitched at the correct." Like they're vocally pitched at the correct length. Though it's like 2.3 semitones. That is it sounds like pleasing to the ear. That's why people not that they're cleverly written or that they're funny. No, they're just pitched at the
Well,
right.
they're not written at all. There's no dialogue.
I know, but he's supposed to be promoting the movie. I'm just saying.
I'm a Minions hater, so I
Uh
appreciate
I
that.
I love those movies ironically. Like if that makes any sense. I'm the
I
kind of
do not like
person
them.
I'm the kind of person where I love stuff because it's bad. Like it's
This
just
is
the
true.
way I am.
This is true.
So I love the
Justin likes the
minions.
silly.
I love the silly. I love minions because they're terrible. Because
I
they're objectively terrible.
I wish I could remember. There's a YouTube channel out there that takes like pro wrestling interviews and stories, but they do animations over them, and a lot of times they do it in a South Park art style. And they did a video for the Brawl Out incident where CM Punk, short version, Young Bucks and Kenny Omega come into CM Punk's locker room after his match at All Out. I forget what year. I think 2021. Um, and he beats the shit out of them. But the Young Bucks and Kenny are in South Park style, but because Kenny is Canadian, he's got the same.
Flapping head.
Yeah, he's got the
Ah,
flapping.
that's awesome. I love that.
I'm
Oh, I
like
love that. That's yeah.
that I love those jokes where it's like you're not missing anything if you don't know, but if you know, it's a great joke.
Right? Those are my favorites. I love layered humor. Yeah. You want to
Well,
wind up like Colbert? Sorry.
that's the whole thing with Trump's voice and having the floppy head in, the episode we're talking about is if you get the Saddam reference, it's really funny. And I still think it's Saddam.
So many people don't though. Well, it is well, okay, for all intents and purposes, whether or not it is literally Saddam Hussein in a disguise or whether or not it's just another version of Trump, it is Saddam Hussein for all intents and purposes. That's the joke.
Yeah.
Um, like it is him. The
Well, I
fact
mean,
that people
Satan.
didn't get that
Yeah,
was
Satan
like,
even says, "You remind me of my ex-boyfriend."
right? You're just
Yes.
like my ex-boyfriend.
Just in case you didn't get the joke, they literally say it for
I
you.
mean, they play I can change as he enters.
So,
I,
that's what I wanted to say. I'm glad you said that because I want to say that. Hey, anybody who works at the White House, I don't care. Please do this. Please play I Can Change somewhere in Trump's vicinity and see if he recognizes, because he won't recognize it.
so do you think he actually watched the episode?
No, there's no way in hell he watched the
Or
episode.
did he just see clips or
He
like
saw, he probably saw images, or maybe somebody showed him the video, but this is why the joke is funny. Much like his reaction in the show when he looks at the portrait and his penis is so small, he probably got big mad, right?
okay, here's a question I have. Not to go back to the Epstein stuff, although Satan accuses him of being on the Epstein list. Um,
Well, technically, Twitter accused him of being.
I don't.
Satan just
I've
saw
been
it.
struggling to articulate this. But that letter that the Wall Street Journal leaked,
Hmm.
I could believe it's not real because not that it's too articulate for Trump, but more just it seems too artistic. Like to write a single page, one act mini play on a paper requires a level of like
Oh, he
creative
didn't write it.
thought.
He didn't write it. He signed it. He told somebody to write it.
So he told someone to write, but again, to get someone to write that for him, and also to be fair, I went, oh, he doesn't talk like. Although the funniest bit was when his son claimed he was too stupid to use the word enigma, only for there to be footage of him using the word enigma. I thought that was funny.
I,
Enigma's not
I,
even that big of a word.
I still give you credit for, and I'll be honest, because you pointed this out, I'm with you. I don't think Trump can read, at least not well.
I think maybe he could read. I think
No,
his eyes are going.
I think he can read, but I don't. I'll rephrase. He can read. I don't think he likes to.
Yeah, no, he definitely doesn't like to. I mean, he's very famous of wanting his intel reports and pictures.
Yeah.
Um, but I think he could probably read bait. Well, to be fair, I think his eyes are going. To be fair, I think he's starting, which like, you know, he's getting older. But just that letter, it seemed too clever for him. But also, like someone pointed out, that was from like 20 years ago. Maybe he was 1,000 times more clever 20 years ago. But I was just like, this seems too smart. But smart didn't feel like the right word. Clever, unique. I couldn't. I've been struggling to think of the right word to describe it. Where I'm like, I just can't picture him sitting down and writing that and
This
signing
feels
it.
out
I
of
just can't.
character for him.
Yeah, it's out of character is maybe the better way to put it. Or I'm like, I thought it was funny that they admitted he had an old man disease. The guy who refuses to admit that he gets sick. Like that, I surprised they didn't make fun of that. His old man legs not or his the veiny whatever legs, his swollen feet. There's all kinds of things they could make fun of Trump for.
Oh, and then they're
I
coming.
I will say to be fair to the to people who got mad, they didn't go for Biden or Kamala. You know, so I think that's a fair criticism. You guys seemingly completely avoided doing 4 years of
This is
Biden.
true, but they did go for Hillary against
They
Garrison.
really went for Hillary. They clearly did not like Hillary.
And to be
Um,
fair, like because you pointed this out, Matt and Trey kind of, especially now, they're at the point where they just do what they want. And
yeah,
I got the sense from them that by the time Biden came around, they were just kind of sick of the direct political commentary,
right.
which I can see.
I had a theory that they didn't because a lot of people because they say that they read everything online, which who's to say whether or not that's true or not. But um, I could believe that they saw that they were getting shit on because they're the kind of guys who kind of don't don't like they strike me as they don't like being the butt of the joke or being ripped on.
This is
Um,
true.
so I suspect they probably weren't happy about being called cowards for skipping the election.
Maybe,
I
but
saw a
then again,
lot of people calling them cowards.
Trump is pissing a lot of people off. You know,
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, they just seem to really just have an issue with what Trump is doing, which I mean a lot of people do. A lot of people do. A lot of
and
people do. I guess that CBS thing was just a bridge too far for them. But again, I come on this show and I have to be critical of everyone, and I have to be like, there's a lot of people on the left who are just being ridiculous. Like I saw one person be like, they must be really stressed out and freaked out because this is the most controversial episode they've ever made. And I went, I don't think
no,
it's the most
lately.
controversial episode they've ever made. Yeah, exactly. It's the most controversial episode they've made lately, but
I'll
of
give you
all
lately.
time,
No,
no,
not.
no. They got in
I don't
trouble
even.
for
I don't even
I
think it's in the
mentioned
top 10. I think
no.
the most controversial one they probably did was Super Best Friends, followed closely by Trapped in the
Yeah.
Closet.
Or Trapped in the Closet probably was. I mean, no, they did get sued for Trapped in the Closet, didn't they? Did they get sued for Trapped in the Closet?
No, they
The
got
Church of
threatened.
Scientology?
I feel like they got threatened to be sued, but I don't think
Because
they
that got
actually did.
pulled out of syndication. It only exists on DVD now. They won't play it. They're not allowed to play it
It did,
on
but that's because I guess they did get. I don't think Matt and Trey got sued. Um
Comedy Central did.
I think Comedy Central did.
And then 401 or 201, the
201.
one
Yeah.
201 where they got actual bomb threats.
Yeah.
That was way more
Well,
controversial.
that
But that
but the ironic thing about that is that was Muhammad's second appearance.
right, right,
You
and you
know,
can still I think they had to go back and censor him in Super Best Friends as a result of that.
they did, but that
Yeah.
was a result of Super Best Friends. But the funny part about 201, if I remember correctly, the joke is that it's not even Muhammad under the censor bar.
No,
It's
no.
it's a
Well,
great joke.
the even funnier joke is Kyle has a speech which the uncensored version has come out
Yeah, I've seen
in the
it.
year since, but where they censored it, or Comedy Central censored it on their behalf, and they were really pissed about it. But it's Kyle being like, the way to get what you want is through violence. It was really ironic. It was like the way to what you get what you want through violence. So yeah, this isn't nearly as controversial as that. But the fact that people are like, oh, they're so brave for standing up and speaking out against the president should be cause for concern.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I don't agree with that sentiment at all. I'm like, since when is like as frankly, as an American, talking shit about the president is just kind of what we do.
It's like a natural pastime
I
for
was
you
gonna say
people.
it's a cultural pastime. Like when commercials are on during the baseball game, that's what we do between shoveling our
Right?
mouths full of apple pie. It's
Like
like
every
it's
one of them, you make
American.
fun of them a little bit, even the ones you like.
Well, like watch any episode of SNL ever. Even the presidents they like, they make fun of.
Right? I mean, I'm gonna get on here and I'm just gonna say it. Obama's wrong. You could put ketchup on your shit if you want to.
You
Fuck
absolutely
you.
can.
Fuck you. Fuck you, Obama. Fuck
Fuck
you.
you,
I'm gonna
can
slather ketchup on my fucking burger next time, and I'm gonna be thinking of you while I do it.
you
Okay?
tan suit
Fuck you,
wearing
Obama.
mother
There.
you
We're
tan
equal.
suit wearing Hope Diamond stealing motherfucker.
Go put some Dijon mustard on your fucking hot dog, you brown tan suit wearing.
No,
I'm sorry. I promised myself I wasn't
he
gonna.
doesn't want mustard. Because it was newsworthy to watch him getting a hot dog in New York City and he said, but no mustard.
With
No
no
mustard.
mustard. No mustard on that hot dog. I fundamentally disagree with that. Um, um, but also it's driving me mad seeing people like we live in a dictatorship now. Jordan said this, and I stole this joke, but I'm gonna give him credit for it now, where he said, if you were in a dictatorship and you made a joke, you would wind up like Stephen Fry in V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Like the fact that South Park can go on the air and be like Donald Trump, tiny penis, tells you you're not in a dictatorship yet. The minute they can't say that Donald Trump has a tiny penis, the minute we can no longer say that Donald Trump has a tiny penis is the minute you live in a dictatorship because I live in a different country.
Which is why I'm a free speech fundamentalist. And I know we've talked about your correct pointing out that nobody actually wants pure free speech because C4chan, but
Or Twitter.
or Twitter.
Or Twitter.
Well, no,
Right now Twitter is kind of
I'm fine with Twitter because here's the thing about free speech. I feel like people don't get this. Is like, yes, you can say whatever you want, but you are not free from the consequences of saying whatever you want. So when you say something stupid and people call you an idiot,
oh,
you're
You mean like we don't have time for it, but you mean like a certain guy and a certain. I'm really looking forward to. I don't know when you're gonna do it, but that next reaction video on Jubilee, I'm really looking forward to it. There's some guys on there that
It's coming.
I'm
It's
looking for.
coming. It's coming.
Oh, he
Well,
got
because
fired.
and I'm so very upset because okay, first of all, I think generally speaking, well, I was gonna say I think reaction videos are lazy, but I disagree because there are some history reactor channels that I actually really like, but they certain
It
types of
depends. It
certain
depends.
types of informative reaction videos can be valuable, but I don't understand how these people got famous just being like, especially that one dude who always talks like a small child. It's really creepy, but he has like so much money.
It's the sitting there and just watching it and not providing anything to it. That's where I'm like, I don't understand this. I
Yeah,
don't get this. But
yeah.
where it's like what you're doing, where you're breaking it apart, breaking it down, dismantling it, and dismantling both sides. And although I don't know how you're gonna dismantle, I want an autocracy. I don't really know
Well,
how
there's
you're
no,
gonna
I mean,
go
he's saying the quiet part very loudly. But
so
the
loudly.
other reason that I'm really kind of perturbed is I don't like yeah, Mehdi Hassan's his name, right?
Yeah, I believe
Yeah,
that sounds right.
I don't like him. I don't like him at all. I enjoyed watching Douglas Murray tear him a new one. Um, but
I can't stand arrogance, and he has that vibe to me.
well, I mean, I'm
It's the British thing, right?
I'm a Douglas Murray fan, but he I feel like he has some earned arrogance. But
I just I can't stand when people who are as smart as me say things that aren't true with authority, which is probably saying that probably reveals why I don't care for most most conservative commentators.
I mean, fair
My
enough.
favorite moment right now, I made a video about it, but watching Matt Walsh get torn apart by Nazis and not realizing he's getting torn apart by Nazis is the funniest thing. Is one of the funniest things ever, other than Charlie Kirk not getting that Cartman is bad.
Yeah, that's true. If it were any other character, or if it was just a caricature of him,
Yeah,
except but like but
when
like man,
Logan Paul thought that he was being made fun of was funny. I got it because the character at least kind of looked like Logan Paul. But like in this episode, it opens with Cartman laughing at the fact that liberals were bitching on. He was sad that NPR got canceled because he liked listening to Mexican who were
rappers cry.
raped about being raped.
No, the Mexican rappers crying about where were the girls from? Afghanistan, somewhere in the Middle East,
Just the
getting so
punchline
much
was that
money.
they were raped.
Yeah.
And I was like, really, that's the guy you're happy to be? Or like, I mean, even
Okay.
then, the guy who marched around the square in a little Hitler outfit, you're happy to be that guy. Like, I'm just like, I
Well,
don't know. I
yeah. When you put it that way, maybe he doesn't get the joke.
No, he does not get the joke. That's the thing. It's like, no, you understand like that PC principle being Power Christ principle. He's sad about that, right? Hence the shot of him looking despondently into his hands. He's sad about that. I really want to see. I'm really hoping that would happen to PC principle. I'm hoping that they reveal that.
Oh
Like
God, I cannot wait. I
I'm
cannot
hoping
wait.
like
I
he's
love
like
that
some
gag.
stuff happened in November, man. I want to know what happened. So he was really, I guess he must have been really downtrodden about Trump winning, I guess.
He got sued, obviously.
I guess he must have got that's the is he got sued
Yeah.
by I do think he's gonna come back to I'm curious as to how serialized this is gonna wind up being, but
Well,
I wonder if he'll go
because
back to being PC principal by the end of the
oh, I
season.
hope so because I'm sorry, I love that character. I love that character so much since he was introduced.
I love PC principal.
It's such a great gag. I love it.
I mean, I love
It's
the first episode he's in where Randy joins the frat. My favorite scene. I mean, so many of my favorite scenes involve Randy. I love Randy, but one of my favorite scenes with him is after he goes to the frat and he's hungover. And like, was it true you were drunk and harassing it? Yeah, so it's true that we checked the privilege. Yeah, yeah. It's so funny.
I just watched the episode recently where um I forget what the name was, but it was about ads in when you read news, right? And the gag in that
Oh
one,
yeah, that was a funny
and the
season.
gag in that one at the frat house is the one guy they're talking about how they're gonna be even more respectful and considerate of handicapped people, and the guy's like, "Yeah, we're gonna get so much more puss." And he's like, "No, that's not the point, bro."
Oh, it's got so many of my favorite PC principal moments where he's like, if I find out who wrote the R word, I'm gonna break their fucking legs. And Jimmy walks out. What about him, PC principal? Are you gonna break his legs? Or or where he beats up Cartman and Cartman's like, wait, hold
I
on.
love I love that scene. That scene is
It's so funny. Yeah, I love that character. That character is so. Or the PC babies. The PC babies was also funny. Power woman. But yeah, that's a little bit where I was like, yeah, they went down the, oh my, yeah, okay, here's a lazy or an easy trans joke. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it's I get it. But also the fact that it was a Macho Man Randy Savage was
well,
also
but the
funny.
thing is, they made that joke years before that was sort of like societally in vogue to make that joke.
Yeah, it's true.
They
They were
made
the
that
first
joke
ones to it. Yeah.
years before.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, and the people online I sort of recognize. I've seen a lot of people be like, okay, I don't like South Park. I don't like it for X, Y, and Z reasons. These are all the things that all the ways they've disaffected our society negatively.
Well, but
Um,
here's the thing about that joke though, and this is why realistically you do have to watch South Park before you comment on it because that
you
joke,
really do.
in my opinion, that joke is okay because in universe that person is not trans. Heather Swanson is not actually
No, and that's the
trans.
joke. Yeah.
That's the joke. Is the fact that it's strong woman's ex-boyfriend who's just wants to
Yeah,
get
he's
back at her.
co-opting the language, and
Yeah,
that is the joke. Yes, you're
that's
not
the
wrong.
joke.
You know, a lot of times the joke is a little bit. Sometimes it comes from, but that's just again I always say it I got in real shit once for saying that South Park is dated, and I said South Park is dated. It's humor from the early 2000s that we don't do anymore. Like a lot of it is just stuff we don't find funny anymore. That's fine. Humor evolves. There's stuff on The Simpsons that's
Hey,
aged badly.
speak for yourself. I still find the SARS blanket gag hilarious. That whole
Some of
episode
some of
makes
it
me
is still
laugh
funny.
way too hard. Bro, I have to tell this. I've said it before, but I don't know if I've told you this. That episode had a moment. This is very rare when I actually have to pause the show that I'm watching because I'm laughing too hard. Is when the kids are at the Indian casino comedy show, and I'm expecting a really bad joke, and I get one that kind of made me chuckle. Like, you know, why the big pause? You know, that joke. What I wasn't ready for was how the audience laughed at the joke.
Is that is I see, I might be confusing it with Family Guy, but is this the one with runs with premise and then premise running
Yes,
thin? Yes,
yes.
yeah, okay,
Well, for those
yeah.
who haven't seen the episode, he tells the bad joke, and then remember, it's the audience at they call it the Indian casino at the episode, but so there's no confusion, it's the Native American Indian casino,
Yes,
and
yes,
the
yes.
entire audience goes ha 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 ha. I was not ready for it. I was not ready for that kind of a joke. I had to pause the episode. It still makes me laugh.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff early on that's to be fair, South Park didn't start off topically relevant every single week. That's they evolved into that, but they started off as a weird science fiction parody show where they like parodying science fiction and weird after school concepts. They didn't start off with being politically biting, which is probably why they wanted to get away from doing that. Um,
Well, that episode in particular, post COVID, is 10 times funnier. So it aged extremely well because the gag is because the Indian casino is trying to buy the town of South Park so they can expand, but the inhabitants don't want to sell. They send SARS blankets to South Park.
yep.
And this is, you got to remember, this is pre Randy being super funny.
Yeah.
This is pre the losing edge.
Yep.
And it's got Randy being, Stan, you have to find a cure. There's only a 98% chance that I'll live. And then it turns out that the cure for SARS is blankets and chicken soup,
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. Yeah. Oh God,
which
man.
you have to
So much
remember
good shit.
that was several years. That was almost a decade. No, that's a really early. That's like season 6, I think.
I think so.
So that's
Yeah.
early 2000s. That's almost 20 years before COVID.
I mean, SARS they thought it was gonna be like a similar. I just remember the people thinking that SARS was gonna be this big thing, and then it didn't end up being this big thing.
Well, right, but I
I
mean, COVID-19 is a SARS
yeah.
virus.
I
Yeah.
remember when that yeah. I remember when I remember that the same thing.
SARS-CoV-2.
I remember when they had the swine flu because somebody showed up to a Halloween party dressed up as swine flu, and everyone went, "Ooh, that's in poor taste."
I will say there is one joke that has ever offended me in South Park, but again, it's comedy, so I'm not going to raise hell about it. Is when
No.
Steve Irwin is at Satan's Halloween party.
Oh yeah, but the joke there is that it's too soon. That's the
Yeah, I mean
joke is that it's too
that's fair.
soon. But yes, I definitely I get your point. It happens. It's when yeah,
It's
like
just
the
because Steve Irwin's one of the few people that I like honestly, unless it's like in friendly jest, like making a cruel kind of reference, you know,
yeah.
it's kind of in poor taste, I
I mean,
think.
they also have one of my favorite. I think it was them that where he's like, I'm gonna run up and put my finger in his butthole. That's one of my favorite. I love that. I run up and
Okay,
put my
but
finger right in his
that's
butthole.
but that's
Or
I wouldn't call that an offensive joke.
making movies, singing songs, and fly. Yeah, that's Russell Crowe though. Fly around the world. It's like yeah,
That's
there's
a
so many.
great joke. And
There's so many.
apparently seeing that episode made him like change a little bit because he really was
Really?
like, yeah, apparently because I saw an interview he did, he was like, well, when they're making a joke about it, there's something to it.
I mean, Kanye West is apparently still offended about fish dicks, so
He still doesn't get the joke.
he still doesn't get the joke, which is really funny because they were like, we thought that we went after Carlos Mencia way harder.
They did.
I'm just Mexican. I package steel jokes and package it with a Mexican accent. There's a really I highly recommend. I don't know if you're familiar with Dark Side of the Ring. Um, there's a really good if you hate Carlos Mencia, there's a real good Dark Side of Comedy episode about him where he just makes excuses for it, and it just makes him seem worse. It's genuinely if you dislike him, it's very funny. He seems pathetic.
See, that's somebody who at the time, which I still think to a point, although he's got even more fuck you money now. That is a moment where I think that you can honestly say that Joe Rogan was pretty brave when he
Oh, yeah, Joe Rogan. As soon as he I watched like 20 minutes of Carlos Mencia in his special, and Joe Rogan was just in my head, and I was like, he's just not funny. He's just not a very good comedian. And I turned it off. I've never finished one of his specials because I just don't think his stand-up's very. To be fair, I also don't think Joe Rogan's stand-up is very good, but that's
Oh, see, I disagree.
beside
I
the
think
point.
Joe Rogan's quite good.
He does have the occasional bit that does make like his bit about weed gummies was really funny. Where he's like, "How do you measure how strong it is?" It's not a
I like
measurement.
he does a great bit about cats too, which I it's very funny. But
I have to shout out one of your favorite comedians though. I've been trying to find a good clip of it so I could stitch it on TikTok. That Shane Gillis at the ESPYS was genuinely funny. The bit where he cut. He's like, I just want to thank such and such a WNBA player being here tonight. I'm just kidding. None of you know WNBA. I laughed
that's
so
a great
fucking
joke.
hard. I was like, that's fucking
So
funny.
he's like, that's actually my friend's wife. It's like
Because yeah,
I knew none of you
because
fuckers knew.
that was so funny because we did it. We did an old Disney Channel original movie called Double Teamed about it's about two WNBA players, and at the end of it that shows them facing off on in two rivaling and WNBA teams that aren't real, but you don't know that because nobody knows any WNBA teams. And Jordan's boy went, "Whoa, I'm pretty sure that's offensive." So I was like, "Wow, that's a really validating joke. Thank you, Jane Gillis."
Shane Gillis is one of the better because again, he's a comedian who also I would say, which this is a byproduct of him already having been canceled. He's just not afraid of it now. Like
Right?
he'll
Right?
say the thing. He don't give a fuck. And
Okay,
now he's big enough to where you know.
okay, here's a question that's tying back to South Park because To me, the South Park and the Stephen Colbert are kind of hand in hand. Stephen Colbert, he did a big monologue where at the end of it he called himself a martyr and implied
No.
that he's being canceled because of Trump, and Trump is the reason he's being canceled. But at the beginning of the monologue, he was like, if you're watching this, or rather you're watching this on your phone the day after, like, oh no, it's probably more that. That's probably more the reason why. I'm
Yeah.
curious as to who watched South Park live and who's watching it on Paramount Plus, and like how that affects their bottom line. Like, I know
Well,
streaming is killing broadcast television, but I'm just, to be fair, I think broadcast television just doesn't. Do we need broadcast television? Like, do we
not
need it?
anymore. Not anymore, but I'll be honest, don't get me wrong. I love the convenience of streaming, but at the same time, it's kind of nice to not have to be at home at a certain time or you'll miss your
Right?
show. It's kind of awesome. But I do kind of miss big event television.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That is like
Like
say
where it's
like
or
water
like the
cooler talking about the
yeah,
season
yeah.
finale. Yeah,
Which I
no,
mean,
that's fair.
this episode had some elements to that
Oh,
where it's
for
like, holy
sure.
shit, dude, have you seen it yet?
Did
It's
you
it's
see
less
it?
it's less it the only thing that's really changed is now because there's no big event television, but now it's not so much did you watch it, and now it's more like have you watched it yet?
So it's like I need to get to TikTok to be the first person to say something about this. Like that's I'm lucky I get up early enough in the morning that I could be like at 2 a.m. I haven't seen anyone talk about Trump's dick on here yet. Can I can I
well, but
make a
the
video and scoot in here?
well the bad part about that is then people will comment on something before they actually watch it.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that is true.
Because
Or
there's
like
as we said at the beginning, there's several people that have commented on this episode that have clearly not watched it.
no, or they just don't watch South Park, or like they don't know how South Park works, or like there's been a lot of really dumb people who have been like, oh, they animated this months ago, like they had no way of knowing, no, that's not how South Park works. And then you got a lot of people really, really like annoyingly like being like, no, smugly being like, no, you don't know South. You need to watch 6 Days to Air, bro. Which, by the way, you should. Like, not
You
even,
should.
not even just because it teaches you how South Park works, but because it's a good documentary, and
Oh, I
B,
also I also just love the behind the scenes voice recording that they have.
yeah,
Like because I believe that episode is the one that because it's following one episode. That is the episode where they have uh the school assembly on diversity of Asian people.
yeah, you see Trey
You see Trey
do
record all that.
record the Mr. Walk and the Japanese guy, and you're like, ooh, it doesn't look so great when you see him doing the voice.
I disagree. I think it's 10 times funnier when you
The
see him
one that
do
made me laugh was when you see him do Mr. Mackey and he looks like Nicolas Cage. That made me laugh. Like I see him.
Today
No,
we're gonna have an assembly
assembly
on the
on Asian.
diversity of Asian people.
My
All
other
right.
favorite one, I don't know that it's in the actual documentary, but when they were promoting it, they did a bunch of behind the scenes, and the best one is Bill Hader, and I think it might be Trey, them doing the two
No,
rednecks.
it's
Is it Matt?
I think it's Matt, yeah.
It's Matt, yeah. Them doing the thing, and they can't stop laughing, so they have to like move away from the microphone to laugh. He just
Oh
gets
no,
up
I'm sorry.
there and
I think it
shits
is
his
Trey.
britches.
It gets up there, shoots his
Shits his
britches.
britches. He just shits and shits it just all day long. Just shits it. That was a moment where everyone was like, "Are they done? Like, is South Park done?" It feels like South Park is done because they just seemed really burnt out. And
Not
then
at
they were
all,
like,
because that
"No,
episode
no."
was funnier than hell.
That episode is really, really cool. I love my favorite is the second part where it all rewinds back and everyone moves in and it plays the song in reverse. That's funny. But no, that documentary taught me that I wouldn't want to work for South Park because it seems like a total nightmare.
Oh
Like
no, I
so
so
much,
would. That would be
but
so
just so much of it
good.
is like people sleeping in sleeping bags in the office till like 2 in the morning while your boss finishes working. Like just my maybe it's because I'm a lower level employee, just sitting there having to wait on my boss to do something at 2 a.m. Like crunch time, you're like you're 5 a.m. the morning of the show goes up. It just seems so stressful. Like he talked about chugging NyQuil. I was like, yeah, it just doesn't. Or it was he's like, I build Lego because it helps with the stress. It's like it just seems like a stressful job. That's
Yeah,
why I was
but
like,
I mean
I
to be I guess that
I'd want to be in the writer's room. I'd want to be in the
Yeah,
writer's room. That I will say.
the writer's room and the voice booth. Yeah, I wouldn't want to be an animator. I don't have the temperament for that job.
No.
I'll be I do this.
Right? Just the pace with which that show moves, like how much you have to change, how much you have to be on the fly. Like I'd love to sit in the writers' room and help them write jokes. Like I would love to write jokes for South Park. That would be an absolute dream. Then
I'll just be honest. I'm not that clever. I'm not clever enough to write jokes for South Park. I have a good zinger every now and again, but I can't produce like that.
yeah, but to be fair, you're one of like 4 writers they have,
That's
so you
true.
just need to
That's
come
true.
up with the occasional zinger.
Bouncing off one another.
They clearly have. My theory is that they clearly have a Gen Z writer on staff. That's when they do the TikTok episodes, like the episodes on a modern thing that they don't seem to quite get. I feel like the Gen Z writer was like, we got to do a TikTok episode, and they went a Tic Tac episode.
Well, and then you've got like your cred, like that. That's a Gen Z
Fred,
writer.
yeah. My personal favorite was in the moment in what I think it was the last special they did, the not suitable for adult for children. Yeah, the one with Cred, where he gets um Randy gets into a big fight with Shelly, and there's a lot of really weirdly personal dialogue that you could just tell. Oh, Trey's clearly having a thing with his teenage daughter. Like you remember that he's got a teenage daughter, and I was like, oh, he's having a thing with her that he's putting this into the show. I thought that was really funny. There's really funny how there's clips of her doing. She used to do Ike, and then he's posted recent clips of her, and she's like a teenager now. I'm like, whoa,
Yeah.
where'd the time go?
Yeah, it's staggering. But anyway, in closing, because we've been at this for a
Can't wait
minute.
till next week.
Oh, I know it's going to be so funny. But watch Sermon on the Mount, subscribe to Paramount Plus, and enjoy. We probably won't be talking about this on Toon Talk because for some reason that I don't understand, Virus doesn't like South Park.
Neither does Haley. Haley just keeps sending me messages of how she's now on her quote 5th time trying to watch the movie.
I don't know what she's doing wrong.
I know. I'm like the opening number is a parody of Beauty and the Beast. How could you not like that? I don't
Yeah.
And it's more socially relevant than ever now. It's weird how socially relevant that that like the quote that Sheila Broflovsky has, which is like deplorable violence is okay. It's just as so long as no one says a naughty word. It's just so relevant as people cheer on people getting eaten by alligators.
Wait, what?
It's not okay to think that people can be eaten by alligators in your alligator super prison.
What?
Trump has alligator Alcatraz?
It's not literal alligators.
I mean, I don't know.
It's
There's
called alligator.
people.
It's called alligator Alcatraz because it's in Florida.
I see. From what I've heard, is it's apparently a super prison surrounded by alligators.
Well, it's built in a swampland. I wouldn't say it's not. They don't have like a moat filled with alligators in it.
Oh, see.
Although
That's not.
I think you'll see that in South Park.
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna see alligator Alcatraz in South Park. Calling
We
it
absolutely
today.
are. But it'll be for people that Trump has sued. Like it's going to be a thing, and it's going to be fine.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, anyway, everyone, thank you for enjoying this episode of the Average Intelligence Podcast. Hopefully, you're a little bit less average and a little bit more intelligent. But given that our chimp in a suit was done up like South Park in a thumbnail featuring a naked Donald Trump with Satan, probably not. But I digress.
Wait. I didn't check. Did you censor the thumbnail?
He's under the covers.
Oh, okay. So you don't see any ween. Okay, cool. Let's just check. I was just making sure.
No, I wasn't gonna. I would if I was gonna use Donald Trump ween, I was gonna put something over it, obviously, but probably just the chimp's head. But
That's funny. Anyway.
or just another picture of Donald Trump's face looking mad.
Hey, I had to spend a great deal of time censoring duck boobs this week, so I just more time than I care to admit.
Well, anyway, tune in next week where it should be us
No
defending,
context.
It should be us defending Brendan Routh and Superman Returns, but we'll see. We'll see
I will
what
not be
happens.
here. You'll see a much more Eric looking face.
Hopefully, knock on wood. But until then, watch South Park.
Yeah.